Hi guys, and welcome to another video. This is going to be post-commentary for this video. I'll explain why it's going to be post-commentary in a minute. But yeah, we zoned into the Unwaking Waters here at the start because I realised just before I started filming this that actually a lot of this of Winds of Change we're going to be zoning into Kyning Center like at the start of nearly every single episode we do here. So that could get quite boring. So I might end up zoning into weird places, but that might be a bit stupid anyway because we'll probably just end up with like double loading screens or something. But yeah, so hi. We're in post-commentary mode here because I just recorded all of this. All this footage you're seeing here was me recording and giving commentary, but Audacity wasn't on, so I literally was just talking to myself for the entirety of all this footage. Really, really depressing and annoying because I was actually really happy with the stuff I'd said. So this is literally a couple of seconds later. I'm not going to procrastinate or wait around. This is me recording it again, saying the same things, or hopefully saying the same things I said before. So we're going to speak to Zayri at any moment here. Here we go. He says, "Welcome back, my friend. If you have the strength to lend, I could use your assistance again. Although I confess, when you hear the task at hand, you might be reluctant to join me." He'll keep saying stuff like that, like, "Oh, you'll be reluctant to join me," even though we've already agreed to join him on many others. He says, "Ministry scouts reported concentrated numbers of afflicted going in the Shenzhen tunnels. This is going to be a massive battle, and just you and I will not be enough to handle it. We're going to need more support from the Ministry. They'll send as much aid as they can spare, but most of the soldiers are currently engaged at Beijiangkan Pier. The afflicted came in overwhelming numbers, and we are cutting off the incoming tide. We have to make do with whatever support we can receive. However, if we're to deal with the afflicted there, we will have dealt a serious blow to their numbers. I can understand that traipsing around Canton sewers is not the most appealing of tasks, but what do you say?" It's actually quite cool. I think he says some more, yeah. He says, "And I'm sure the Ministry of Purity will pay enough that you could visit a bathhouse afterward." This feels weird. I've already made these comments, but the bathhouse thing, when I first read that out, I was like, oh, it's kind of cool to think of bathhouses in Cantha, because that's just another example of one of those weird things that kind of exists in the world, but you never really think about. So we say, yeah, let's get this done. Procrastinating won't make it any more palatable, or do you know how much these boots cost? And then I made a very witty joke about how my boots did cost a lot because they're Asuran boots. But yeah, I quite like the dialogue of this quest because essentially they explain that the Ministry of Purity are fighting on their own elsewhere in the city, which is really, really cool because, as I said at the end of the last episode, the whole idea is that the Ministry of Purity are fighting for themselves and not just relying on the heroes. So I think it's nice that they put that little tweak in there to kind of say, hey, look, the Ministry of Purity are doing their own thing. They're actually working towards their own ends and fighting for themselves, which is really cool because it would be very easy in the game if they didn't do stuff like that for it to seem like, well, how are they fighting for themselves when the hero is always the one doing the stuff. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, but to complete the quest, you can come out here into the Shenzhen tunnels. You can also go from Martu Keep. Before filming this episode, and in fact in the original commentary, I said that it was faster to come from where I just did. However, there's going to be a lot of Amphaur to fight. You'll see me fighting loads and loads of Amphaur here, like a ridiculous amount. I mean, I aggroed loads. You'll even see me, unless I cut it out, I don't know. It depends. Now that I'm doing post-commentary, I can probably speed it up or something. How long is the entire thing? It's about a 20-minute episode in total, so it might get shorter, I don't know. But I'm fighting Amphaur here for a very long time, and in fact, we wipe. And while we're fighting, I'm talking about using Headbutt. In fact, for a long time, you'll see I keep fighting their assassins and stuff. The idea while I was doing this was because I didn't want them to be harassing my backline too much. But very quickly, we look at the map right now. You can see all those groups coming in. I actually, because I was talking to you guys, didn't notice that happen. And then I pointed out that Norgu died, and we weren't even really fighting quest mobs just yet. So I kept fighting these guys, but we massively over-aggroed. Eventually, we do win the majority of the fight. But can you see that other mob ages away to the south? That's got a boss in it, and eventually they aggro us as well. The boss comes over and kills me in a single spell, and we end up wiping from that and we go back. But yeah, so we're fighting here for a long time, and I started going off on a few tangents about various things. One thing in particular was you'll notice that these Amphaur have all got multiple professions, and that's a nice way really that you can tell that you're in Winds of Change or any Guild Wars Beyond content, because a lot of enemies will have multiple professions, and they'll be using a lot of builds that really players have developed and been using in PvP over the years, the sort of particularly overpowered builds, which is quite cool. So even though these guys aren't necessarily a part of the quest we're about to do, which is a huge defense encounter, they are more difficult than you'd usually expect, and they have been placed there as quest NPCs. But yeah, I just mentioned PvP. This is so bad. Oh, why didn't I have Audacity on? I can't believe I recorded a whole video without recording the goddamn commentary. But yeah, I had an amazing segue in the original. I mentioned PvP, right? And that segued me nicely in to the Guild Wars 2 mechanic video that we did today. I talked a lot about this in the original version of this video, absolutely loads. I talked a lot about Guild Wars 2 mechanic stuff. I guess my plan when I got in from work actually was I was going to do a follow-up video for that, but then I talked to you guys a lot on the original commentary here, and now I guess I'm going to have to say it again, so I don't know whether I'll still be up for doing it, because I feel like I've shared it all, if you will. But yeah, as you guys know, yesterday I put up another Guild Wars 2 mechanic video. And it went okay. It was an okay video, definitely. I think it was alright. But at the same time, it was like the first one of those I did was the healer one. If you go back and look at it, I've said it before, I don't actually agree with some of the stuff I say there anymore. But it wasn't very well taken by a lot of people, and there were a lot of kind of negative comments and stuff on it. Anyway, the PvP one, I don't want to say I made a mistake, because I am aware that you can kill people. Well, okay, so basically what happened was, in the video I say, if you've seen it, I say that you need to use finish. I said that you need to use finish him to kill someone in PvP who's downed, which isn't actually true. You don't need to kill someone to do that. Their health will slowly drain away while they're on the floor, if they're in combat, and you can just keep peppering them with attacks and kill them sort of normally, so they can be killed from range. However, I neglected to point this out in the video, and I treated the subject as if the only real way to kill someone was with finish him, because to me it looks like this is really the only viable way to do it. I think the point, there you go, there's the boss, he's coming in now, he's going to destroy us all. I think the point that I made in the video, the point I was making, was that just having the down system the way it is, even if you can kill someone like their second health bar, if you will, while they're in the down state, even if you can do that, the point still stands that it's going to be very difficult to pull off, and ideally you're going to be wanting to get up there and using finish him to sort people out. The idea is, if there's like a big group, okay, take any other game, right? You're on your own, there's a big group of enemies over in the distance, but you know if you're quick enough you can kill one of them. You might be encouraged to do that and then hopefully get away from the rest of them, and you're like, yes, I've got away with the points. But simply because the down system provides like this hard buffer, I call it like a cushion in that video, just because it provides that, it's still, even if you can then keep attacking them from range hopefully and manage to get the kill, it does slow that down and reduce the chance that will happen. So I think the point that I made does still stand. However, I do see what people are saying. And yeah, I've had a few people on the video like, oh no, you're wrong about this, which is totally fine. But yeah, with the mechanic things, I also had I think it was actually only a couple of people were saying it, but I do kind of agree. Really, that what the idea of those videos originally was I was talking about stuff that wasn't in Guild Wars 2, that might have been in Guild Wars 1 or maybe other MMOs, right? And what I was hoping to do with it was be like, well, why isn't it here? Which is why originally it was like, why know this, why know that? In one case, the second one I did, the subscription fee one, it was, you know, pretty plain from the title, why is there no subscription fee? It was more of a positive twist on it, but that was kind of how the series was meant to be. And I've tried to been doing them weekly, but they've kind of been getting harder and harder and harder to like fit the title or fit the theme. Like for instance, actually that was another thing with this PvP video. I had like that no PvP thing was just actually a placeholder name, but where I'd uploaded like quite late at night, and then I just ignored it and forgot about it. And I came home from work today, and there were people like, "Oh, what are you doing? This is poorly titled. You're just whoring out views because the title." Yeah, that does look bad. That was a complete mistake. I didn't actually mean to leave the title like that. But anyway, the actual theme of the videos is getting a bit harder to do. The PvP thing, I was almost going to do a video on mounts. It was just going to be WTF, or no, not WTF anymore, but it was just going to be Guild Wars 2 no mounts, right? Which is, you know, it fits the theme quite nicely. But then I was like, okay, alright, no mounts. What's going on here then? And there's not much you can say, really, on that topic. There's not much I can say, I don't feel like, on many of these topics anymore. I mean, it's very simple with the no mounts. Why doesn't the game have any mounts? Well, because of the waypoint system, which enables people to get around a lot faster, and also serves as a nice gold sink. There's really not much point to having mounts in there outside of being cosmetic additions to the game, you know, things that people can work towards to stroke their ego. And I mean, that's fine, actually, honestly. On this particular topic, loads of people always go out in the community, they're like, oh no, I don't want mounts in, mounts are just for kids who care about how they look on the internet. There's definitely a real feeling of that. A lot of people go on about that. I actually don't care about that. I think that people should have goals, they should have things that they can work towards, and I have no problem with adding mounts as this cosmetic thing that then people could work towards, and then they could be like, hey, look, I put in all this effort and I managed to get this out. I think that's actually a fine thing to have in game. I don't mind that. There is a mentality in our community, though, I think, where because Guild Wars 2 doesn't have mounts, everyone's like, oh no, we don't have them because we don't have to be WoW. We're better than WoW. So, I mean, I'm not necessarily against mounts. I'm not as against mounts as other people, but I don't really see the need for them in Guild Wars 2. So, that's about it, really, on the topic, though. I mean, I don't really have much more to say on mounts. I don't think many other people have much more to say on mounts. I mean, you can point out that mounts with the new system where the left 5 skills change whenever you get a new thing could work quite nicely with mounts, because it could be that as soon as you get on a mount, then your skills change and it's like, oh, this fits in so nicely, now I've got Drake skills because I'm riding around with a Drake. But aside from that, really, there's not much else to say on mounts as a topic, and there aren't really many other topics that there's much to say on either. I mean, so maybe these Guild Wars 2 mechanic things I've been in right now, maybe they've kind of ran their course, because, I mean, I definitely want to keep doing Guild Wars 2 stuff, don't get me wrong, I do want to keep doing stuff. Maybe you guys have got some ideas or something, but, I mean, as time goes on, I think we've done kind of the big things. These are the big things. They're not in Guild Wars 2, but they are in other MMOs, or they were in Guild Wars 1. People have been complaining, why has it changed? I think if we kind of go much longer, I'm going to just start talking about really trivial crap in pretty much every video. Like, this was the comment that I was talking about earlier, actually. I saw someone who left a comment. They were like, look, this is all a little bit trivial. These people are just complaining for complaining's sake. And I do kind of agree with that. You know, people have a lot of valid concerns about the game. You look at the forums, but we blow things out of proportion, right? I mean, I can always see, for instance, when people are complaining about the traits and stuff, and people still are, really, I can see why people are bitching. They're, oh, I can't change on the fly. I can see why maybe that's not a game design decision you agree with. But then people scream bloody murder, and I think the community's in a place right now where we overreact massively. And you might have a valid concern, but in the overall scheme of things, it's really minor. The only reason people care about it right now is because they can't play the game. We're all excited about the game, we all want to play the game, but we can't. So we sit there typing out stupid things like that. And I also agree that it's just a very vocal minority, and then the majority just shoot them down. So, I don't know, maybe me commenting on this kind of stuff, there's not really that much more to say. I can understand why people have these opinions that this will fail or this will fail, but really, are there that many people saying it anymore? Not really. And are they really saying it because they believe it, or just because we can't play the game yet? So yeah, maybe, I mean, I do want to keep doing Guild Wars 2 stuff, but maybe just not the No series. Maybe we've done that, and if something massive comes up later and I'll be like, oh my god, this is a brilliant topic. But yeah, so I mean, it's been a stretch putting the titles on, as I said before. Like, I had that placeholder name on there. It's because, like, it was a bit of a stretch to do the title in the first place, the No PvP title. Maybe I'm just pushing a little bit. But the thing is, though, I don't want to do videos just describing features that exist in the game, because I already know what the features are, and all of you guys watching me right now, you already know what the features are in Guild Wars 2, right? I mean, I doubt I've got anyone watching me that's not interested in Guild Wars 2 or doesn't know much about it. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh right, this is World versus World, especially considering the amount of people, not just on YouTube, but other websites, that do the exact same thing, and the fact that there's a wiki, a community-ran wiki, that explains all that stuff. I don't really want to fall into the trap of just explaining what the different mechanics or concepts that are going into Guild Wars 2 are. I think that would be a little bit boring. I mean, those kinds of things always tend to do quite well, because there's always more people that don't know than do know. But I don't know, I don't really think I want to be making stuff for those who don't know anything at all. So, probably not that. I'm not sure where else, though. I'm not sure I really want to do news either, because there's so many people doing news. I mean, not necessarily YouTube news, but a lot of news often when Guild Wars 2 is concerned, I don't think it's particularly interesting these days. It's not like back when there was the excitement of all these different features that they had to announce. Now, really, they've said it all, and we're just waiting for beta stuff to come out. So, I don't know, I want to keep doing Guild Wars 2 stuff. I didn't actually mean to. I've done it again in the post commentary. In the original video, like, this entire fight you see me here was like an entire rant about this, probably worded a little bit better. But I didn't actually mean to talk about it for so long, but I guess it works, considering this is such a long encounter in the Winds of Change. This mission, I did give some advice and stuff, I guess, for this quest while we were playing it. I've done it a fair few times playing this quest, actually. What you can do is either defend with all the initiates that have joined your team. You can defend with those and be like, alright, okay, we're going to save you and we're going to be over there. You can run right into the middle and hopefully kill the groups as fast as you possibly can. Or you can wait at the side and then slowly like aggro the groups and pull them apart. In fact, I've failed and I've been successful with all of those different techniques before playing through this. So, I mean, it's up to you how to do it. You can try and do it how I did. I think in the original commentary there were a couple of times when I specifically moved towards a certain group and I explained why, because like we had a spirit wall set up in our initial location so we could move, and then any others that we were already aggroed with could then turn around and they'd be preoccupied while we spiked out a group that was still walled up as they were running in and stuff. So I mean, I was worried about this quest actually. In the original commentary I was talking about this and I was like, oh god, this could be one of the first hard ones. You'll notice I didn't micro Spellbreaker at all, but yeah, so oh, here I'm actually reading Zayre's messages. He says, there's more coming. We can't let up now. We can win this fight. Just remember what's on the line. And then he says, the tide's turning in our favour. We must not lose our momentum. Then we say, this looks like it's going to be the last of them. Brace yourself. This is going to hit us with everything they've got. That last group, actually, was really underwhelming, I think. He says, all that's left is silence. We've done well. This was an important victory. Now let us return to rest and recover. And presumably, the other group and the Ministry of Purity actually can then won their fight as well, which I think is easy to forget in this quest that another fight was going on. I think it might have been nicer if in gameplay terms they had actually on the same map that we're in right now the other ministry fighting over there, but maybe in a sealed off area so you can't participate in the fight, just so that it feels a bit more immediate and like you're actually helping. Well, they could have even turned it up even higher than that really and had it so that you specifically as the player choose how many groups you end up aggroing, and if you aggro too many you run the risk of failing, but if you aggro too few then they all die and then you fail anyway. That could be quite cool. We haven't really seen anything like that in Guild Wars. But yeah, I'm sorry about this, guys. I really liked my original commentary. I probably just blabbed on about boring Guild Wars 2 stuff, so yeah, I'll try and not do that in the other videos. There was a lot of other stuff I talked about actually in the original. God, I didn't think I'd spend more time going on about crap, but okay. Alright, so I'll quickly go in game to film the end of the quest, because it was after I zoned out of there that I realised that Audacity was off, and I like just started swearing at the screen, so I'll see you guys in a sec. Okay, hi, I'm back. Yeah, I just had to recomplete the quest again because when I first realised I'd lost all of the post-commentary, I immediately abandoned the quest. I was like, right, I'm just going to have to refilm the episode instantly. Went in-game, started playing again, and then I just was like, oh, I'm really not feeling it. So I decided to do post-commentary instead, but then I kind of loaded back in thinking, right, I'll film the end, and then I realised that I'd abandoned the quest, and I had to complete it again. So there you go. We're going to speak to Zayre. I'm sorry this episode ended up as such a train wreck, guys, but he says, I'm certainly glad this nightmare's over. I have no forgiveness for the monsters they've become, and I think I've had just about my fill of sewers. I just need to remind myself that life is greater than our momentary desires and discomforts. It might not seem like it now, but someday this victory will be a mere footnote